In our last video about type O blood, we traced the origin of blood types to the Iranian Plateau, where a population of ancient humans paused for 15,000 years and developed the blood type variants that now define modern biology. Thousands of you watched that video and asked the same question. If type O is the ancestral blood type, who exactly were the ancestors? How far back does type O actually go? Did Neanderthals have it? Did Denisovans? Modern ancient DNA science can now answer these questions with a precision that was impossible even 10 years ago. And the answers connect you to a lineage of humans that stretches back further than civilization, further than agriculture. To the people who painted the cave walls of Lascaux, to the hunters who pursued mammoths across the frozen steppe, and possibly to populations of ancient humans that are not even fully classified as our own species. This is the deep ancestry of type O blood. It begins with the question of what blood types looked like before the modern world. For most of the 20th century, our understanding was based entirely on studying living people and modern global distributions. We could infer from those distributions something about ancient migrations, but we could not directly measure ancient blood types. Ancient DNA technology changed this completely. Researchers can now directly read the genes of people who died thousands of years ago. By extracting DNA from ancient remains preserved in cold and dry conditions, the picture that has emerged is startling. Mesolithic hunter-gatherers in Europe had a higher frequency of blood type O than any present-day population anywhere on Earth. Higher than modern Europeans, higher even than South American indigenous groups whose near-universal type O is well documented. This means that the ancient hunters who created the extraordinary cave art of Lascaux were almost entirely type O. When Neolithic farmers arrived from Anatolia and began mixing with the existing hunters, they brought type A with them. As the two populations mixed, the frequency of type O in Europe dropped to its current levels. The type O you carry today is the genetic legacy of those ancient European hunters who lived through the Ice Age. The question that immediately follows from this is an obvious one. How far back does type O actually go? If ancient hunter-gatherers had extremely high type O frequencies, what did the populations before them look like? And what about the archaic humans, the Neanderthals and Denisovans, who shared the Earth with our ancestors for tens of thousands of years? A 2024 study by genetic anthropologist Stéphane Mazière and colleagues at Aix-Marseille University in France addressed this question directly. The team analyzed sequenced genomes from 22 Homo sapiens, 14 Neanderthals, and a single individual descended from both Neanderthals and Denisovans. The findings were remarkable. The Neanderthals, whose blood type could be determined from the available DNA, were predominantly type O. This makes evolutionary sense. Type O is the ancestral form of the ABO gene, from which A and B arose through later mutations. If you have type O blood, you share a blood type with the Neanderthals. Not because of interbreeding alone, but because type O predates the divergence between modern humans and Neanderthals. Both populations inherited it from a common ancestor who lived hundreds of thousands of years ago. Type O is old in the deepest evolutionary sense, persisting across multiple species and glacial cycles that reshaped the ancient world. Modern Europeans are the product of at least 3 distinct ancestral groups that mixed over the past 10,000 years. The first group is the Western hunter-gatherers, the reindeer hunters with the highest type O frequencies ever documented. A 2023 Nature study confirmed these populations carried blood type distributions that are unmatched in the modern world. The second group is the early European farmers, migrants from Anatolia, who brought the agricultural revolution 8,000 years ago. These farmers carried more type A, and as populations mixed, type A rose, while the hunter-gatherer type O peak fell. The third group is the Yamnaya steppe pastoralists who swept into Europe from the Pontic steppe 5,000 years ago. These Bronze Age herders, driving wheeled carts, brought very high frequencies of the rhesus negative allele. Modern European Rh negative frequencies are actually lower than in ancient times, due to dilution through mixing. Here is the question that many people ask when they learn about the ancient history of blood types. If I have type O blood, what does that tell me about my specific ancestry? The honest answer is more than you might think, but less than you might hope. Blood type alone is a single genetic marker, too limited to reconstruct a full ancestry story. But combined with what we know about population history, it can suggest things about the deep ancestral currents that flow through your genome. If you are of European ancestry and have type O blood, you are more likely to carry a higher proportion of Western hunter-gatherer ancestry. These were the ancient people who dominated Europe before the Neolithic farming revolution. The type O allele in your genome may literally be a version of the same sequence present in the people who created the oldest art. If you are of West African ancestry and have type O blood, your type O connects you to a different ancient lineage. Your ancestors never left the continent, and their genetic diversity is the deepest and oldest of any human group on Earth. Type O is carried at high frequencies here, partly because of the long-term selection pressure of malaria in sub-Saharan Africa. If you are of East Asian ancestry and have type O blood, your variant of the O allele may be distinct from other versions. Studies identify multiple O alleles, different mutations that produce the same result of no A or B antigen through different pathways. And if you are of indigenous American ancestry, your type O is the specific Native American O variant, the O1V542 allele. This allele arose during the Beringian standstill period and serves as a molecular fingerprint of the founding migration of the Americas. One striking thing about type O is how remarkably stable it is over evolutionary time. The ABO gene has been under what population geneticists call balancing selection for millions of years. This means evolution has maintained all three major variants simultaneously, rather than allowing one to displace the others. The reason is the disease connection. Different blood types provide different advantages against different pathogens. Type O protects against severe malaria, but is more vulnerable to cholera and certain other infections. The 2024 study by Mazière and colleagues found evidence that the ABO gene was already maintaining variants hundreds of thousands of years ago. This means these evolutionary forces have been operating continuously for longer than our species has existed. Your blood type is not a random accident. It is the product of hundreds of thousands of years of evolutionary pressure. Every person alive today has a blood type that survived everything that history threw at their ancestors. The gene is a survivor. One of the most remarkable products of the ancient DNA revolution is the ability to map blood type frequencies across ancient Europe at different periods. And the map that emerges from the data is dramatically different from the map of modern European blood types. Approximately 15,000 years ago, at the end of the last ice age, when Europe was populated almost entirely by hunter-gatherers, type O dominated. The continent was dominated to a degree that has no modern parallel. The few individuals with type A that appear are rare exceptions. Europe was, in blood type terms, an almost uniformly type O continent. Between 8,000 and 5,000 years ago, as Neolithic farmers arrived from Anatolia and spread across Europe, type A became dramatically more common. The farmers were predominantly type A, and as they mixed with the existing hunter-gatherer population, they transformed the blood type landscape. By the early Bronze Age, type A had become a significant presence, though type O remained dominant in many regions. Between 5,000 and 3,000 years ago, the Yamnaya steppe migration brought additional genetic change, including the introduction of type B. This is the period when the blood type map of Europe begins to approximate the map we see today, with type A dominant in Western Europe. Type O remained high in Atlantic fringe populations like the Irish, the Welsh and the Basques. The Basques deserve special mention here. We know from modern genetics that they are among the most genetically conservative populations in Europe. Their blood type frequencies reflect this. Very high type O, very high Rh negative, very low type B. The Basques carry in their blood an echo of the ancient European hunter-gatherer population that has been diluted almost everywhere else. The field of ancient DNA research is moving with extraordinary speed. Every year brings new studies and new insights into human history. The blood type work is exciting because it sits at the intersection of medical genetics and population genetics, revolutionized by ancient DNA. Researchers are now expanding analysis beyond ABO. As we discussed in our AHA Wison series, there are 48 known blood group systems. As technology improves, researchers will trace the evolutionary history of all 48 systems, building a much more complete picture. The implications go beyond pure history. Understanding ancient blood types may help us understand which modern diseases are connected to which types. The ancient DNA record is a natural experiment in human biology conducted over thousands of years, with results still visible in living people today. Mesolithic hunter-gatherers, Neanderthals who appear predominantly type O, and a gene map transformed 3 times by migration. If you have type O blood, you carry a genetic variant that is older than civilization, older than agriculture, older than our species. It is a molecular fossil, a piece of biology that has persisted through ice ages and migrations that reshaped the human world. It survived because it was useful, giving carriers an edge against some disease in some environment. It survived everything, and so did you. Subscribe to Hidden Origins, drop a comment. Does knowing that Neanderthals were likely type O change how you think about your blood type?